We're making indie anime in Blender. Don't forget to like and subscribe and support this project on Patreon. Let's go. This week we're creating the second most used environment here, and this is the palace hallway. And so, what's different about this technique this week that I did is I essentially built this entire scene using only procedural textures. There are no like hand painted textures. Everything in this scene is procedural, and the goal here is the goal with all of my scenes is to get to 90% in Blender and then do paint touch ups. So you can see that I'm just adding details here and there, just trying to get the scene to look simplified, get the scene to look how I want, and then I'm going to start going in here with the ambient occlusion, start building out these shaders. You can see that I'm checking the renders every time now. I'm starting to set up earlier and earlier. I'm setting up the Kuwahara filter. I don't think I add the bloom until later on in this scene, but you can see here that I'm just using the color ramps to map out the values. Usually what I do is I plug the color ramps into a mix, but I found that I wanted to mix them using the actual color ramps to drive the colors themselves as opposed to what I normally do, which is throw them in as a factor to a mixed color. Because I feel like this result, we're actually getting a really good result right now. And this is just straight procedurals. At a certain point, I'm going to add in a paint strokes, which again, look up that Ghibli Rocks. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting. So I add a paint strokes to mask over top of everything, and it just really ties the whole piece together. And you'll see, like, what I'm doing here is I'm mapping down, so I'm trying to make the corridor dividers a little bit more reflective and have a little bit more diffuse look, right? And this is just sort of emulating the lighting, right? Instead of actually having to have lights in the scene, this scene is it runs super fast because there's no lighting in the scene. And I really don't have to worry about anything because it's just going to look great from any angle in any shot that we put it in, right? So here we go. We're adding in the paint strokes, and I'm just sort of getting it working in each view, right? So I have it tied to a null, and that null, essentially, I'm scaling it so that it looks right for each part of the corridor, up, down on the Y, down on the X eventually, down on the Z, and just getting it looking really good so that it really adds that bit of like handcrafted touch. Even though it's still procedural, it looks handcrafted, and that's the whole point of this, right? And eventually we have this dope looking hallway, and we're done.